State's Attorney Fox, this next question will begin with you. There is a growing awakening that decisions about the criminal legal system should be made on the basis of facts and data, not anecdotes, fear, and mythology. Would you be willing to publicly post and share information about arrests, charging decisions, plea bargains, convictions, and other decisions in your office that would assist in the public dialogue about policy? And would you agree that this data should also include race and gender information?
Why, yes, I do. It is the reason that we published our data starting back in 2017. And all of the data that we have published is information that comes from our case management system. And so we don't have access to our law enforcement partners, but we have actually been working with them, particularly with CPD, about sharing their data as well. I think too much of our failed criminal justice policy in this country has come off of anecdote. And the unfortunate reality is I've seen this while running for office this term, where people will do fear-mongering techniques and tell you about 21 people and not give you the full scope of the data that was used to make an analysis. They will tell you about roving bands of people going into stores and doing things to try to dismantle what we're talking about that's backed by data. I think we absolutely have to have data driving what we do in this office, because that is how we got into this era of mass incarceration, of singular instances where people then want to become overly punitive, and then 30 years later we recognize that we have failed. Everybody now de jure says that we have a failed war on drugs. Everybody up here knows that people were continuing to prosecute people disproportionately based on race and income and didn't care because, as many people have already said, well, those are the laws on the books. If you aren't able to show your work and show the disproportionate impact, then you're not able to go back and fix it. And so I believe that we've started a trend across the country of prosecutors' offices sharing this information, and I think that it is our utmost responsibility to have that made available to the public at all times.
Thank you, State's Attorney Fox. Mr. Conway, your answer.
Yeah, no, we need to have that data be publicly available so that the public can see the progress that the office is making, and they can see the truth behind that. And that data needs to be easily accessible. For example, the office used to do annual data reports, but they stopped in 2017, and they were kind of a nice way to really see the progress of the office over that. So we're certainly going to bring those back. As well as having race and gender information to address your question. And additionally, last year there was about 35,000 or so felonies prosecuted, but there's also over 200,000 misdemeanors prosecuted, and we get absolutely no data on them. Now, the data cannot be as comprehensive, of course, but I think we also need to be providing the public with some data about what happens to all those misdemeanor cases as well.
250,000 misdemeanors, just for clarity.
Thank you. Both of you. Mr. Fioretti, your response?
Well, I do think we have to have the portals open to make sure that people understand the data that comes in, what they're charged with, the ultimate disposition, who the judge was, how many judges that they had to go through. I think all that impacts on decision-making both, but sometimes knowing and being a defense attorney often, we try to do things to make sure we protect the interests of our clients, to make sure that we get a fair disposition out of this out before the courts. That is why, quite frankly, when I pushed through the Police Reform Acts, when I was in the City Council, to make sure that everything was posted, the charges were posted on police officers. People didn't understand why one police officer who was charged with one set of circumstances and another one with the same set of circumstances received a disproportionate punishment. I think the same thing needs to hold true. We should be publishing the final disposition, not just how many months, but what the judge's reasoning was in according a sentence on the individual before them.
Thank you.